Hey guys, LootWizard here with another video on Gems of War, and it is the first day of the week. The game is reset. We have new things in the Soulforge, new weapons, new troops, and the raid boss event is now active. So let's check it all out. As usual, we're going to go to the Soulforge first, and let's take a look at the weapons. And there's nothing really in the weapons that I can recommend. You have this here, which is a damage to all enemies type of weapon, but it's boosted by enemy towers. This is only going to be useful in an evasion event where there is actually towers, and there's much better weapons like Mang to do those events. So I wouldn't recommend getting that weapon. This one you can get in the event shop for the raid boss this week, so I would recommend getting it over there instead of here because diamonds are much more valuable than gems. And that's pretty much it for the weapon shop. There really isn't anything else in here that's specific to this week. And the event kingdom for this week is Blighted Lands, so if you want to open event keys to get troops from that kingdom, now is the week to do that. Although there is not really a strong mythic troop for this kingdom, and we can look at some of that a little bit later here. But let's quickly go through the troops, starting with the summoning stones. For blue, I would say the most valuable troop in here is Apothecary. If you do not have this troop yet, or if you want to ascend it to legendary or mythic, now is the time to try to do that. Apothecary is great because it will transform a selected mana color to brown, almost guaranteeing every time a 4 or 5 match, and it will also cleanse all allies. So if you are entangled, if you, if there's troops that have all those negative status effects, this troop will generate the mana and cleanse them all. And it is also immune to stun, poison, disease, death mark, and devour, so that is fantastic. For green, nothing really here except for you have this special troop that does extra damage to bosses for Mogram Woods. So once the raid boss event comes around for the Mogram Woods kingdom, this troop will be used. So if you want to get extra copies to ascend it up to legendary or mythic, now would be the time to do that as well. And I think that's all of the event troops there. For red, probably the best troop in here is Merilith. Merilith is a really great mana generator. It's not quite as good as things like Thrall because it has twice the mana cost, but it's still really good. It will deal true damage, 6 true damage to all enemies, and then it will destroy, for me, 27 gems, and then it gains 6 attacks. So it's going to destroy 27 gems here. That's pretty good. Now, if your magic is that high, it won't be obviously destroying 27 gems, but it's still a pretty good mana generator as you level up. And it does give a bonus to red, and since it uses red, that is good too. For the yellow color, we do have the lava troll. If you're trying to get the rest of these trolls all up to mythic, here's this troll. It'll create a mix of red and brown gems equal to the current red and brown gems on the board. That's a decent troop for mana generation. Not much else in the yellow color. Purple, we don't have really anything in purple that I can recommend. They're all pretty generic troops that you can get through keys. Nothing special. For the last color, brown here, we have the Dark Troll. The Dark Troll is actually a really good troop. Even early on, I would recommend the Dark Troll because it really helps with farming souls. So your Dragon Soul troop and your Pharaoh's Ra all use purple mana, and those are the troops you usually use for soul farming. And so this troll here will double the number of purple on the board and then create 3 purple gems, gain souls boosted by your current magic. So this is also a soul generating troop, and it will generate the mana that your Dragon Soul needs and your Ferrous Rod needs. So this troll here is a good one to get even early on. And then the other troop here is this one, and as you can see, I do not have this one ascended to Mythic yet. It's only at Legendary. This is a boss troop, a raid boss troop for that event, so I will try to probably get this up to Mythic. I'll spend a few gems on it and see what I can get from that. Alright, moving on down here for Legendary troops, we have the Imp of Love, Tesla, Kristanax, and Glaceon. I don't recommend crafting legendaries because, you know, saving up for a mythic is generally better than legendaries. Legendaries drop a lot more often than mythics do. But I will say Glaceon and Tesla are really good choices for legendary troops. Glaceon is great, especially if you have King Bloodhammer and Apothecary. If you have a Mountain Crusher, Apothecary, King Bloodhammer, and Glaceon, that is a really great team. Pretty much all the way through the game, you're going to have a pretty good win rate with that combination. As far as mythics, we have nothing really great this week. Plague, Euryali, Undine, and this other troop down here, Umenath. Umenath is actually really powerful. It almost one-shots everything. Plus, it places Hunter's Mark on enemies when doing skull damage. Hunter's Mark troops will take double skull damage. So as you can see for me, I would be doing 100 attack if I put this up at the top of the team. And it also has a 20% chance to dodge skull damage. This troop does damage to an enemy boosted by all of their skills, and if the enemy dies, gain 10 attack and create 12 skulls. So it is a pretty powerful mythic troop, but it's not, like, it's probably closer to the bottom of a top 10 or falling even below a top 10 for me. One of these days I'll have to get around to making a top 10 list of mythics. According to my opinion. I mean, everybody's got their favorites, but yeah, I would say Umenath is probably the most powerful, but right now Euryali is the most useful if you don't have it, and if you have Scorpius, because if you have Scorpius and Euryali together, those two right now are really strong and fast for doing explore battles because of the guaranteed lethal damage on poison. Because Euryali, you will have to trade it completely, but it will poison all enemies on 4 or 5 gem matches. And then if you have Scorpius, Scorpius will do lethal damage to any enemy that's poisoned. So if you have Scorpius and you don't have Euryali, you should get Euryali this week. Undine is not powerful. I have tried using Undine and I just was not impressed with it. So, yeah. And Plague, I'm not a real, I don't have Plague yet. It's one of the few that I don't have. But, so I can't really give you a definitive yes or no of opinion on whether it's great or not. But just looking at its stats here and its abilities, I don't think it's that fantastic. You could get Tina 9000. You could get lots of other mythic troops that are way better than Plague. So that's kind of my opinion there on those mythic troops. Alright, so let's go check out the new troop here in the Glory Shop, and then we'll head over to check out the raid boss. So the new troop is called Gate of Souls. It's an ultra rare troop from Blighted Lands. It costs 300 glory for each one. You get 1 arcane blood trait stone for each one that you purchase with your 300 glory. Its ability will curse an enemy and drain 12 life from them, boosted by my souls, then shift it to my armor. So it's kind of a defense troop. It will reduce damage from skulls by 50%, reflect 25% skull damage. Yeah, this is a defense troop. Yeah, so I'm sure you'll find we can find some use for it occasionally, especially if you're building an all Blighted Lands team. But yeah, let's go in here and let's go ahead and buy enough to get to Mythic 41. And as I stated in my previous video last week, there is a way you can get 1,000,000 gold instantly. It just costs 60,000 glory. If you just hit the arrow all the way up to its maximum amount, it'll cost you 60,000 glory, but you can get 1,000,000 gold instantly. And I do this on occasion when I have enough glory all hoarded, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'll get 200,000 glory though. Go ahead and purchase this. Now we have the Gate of Souls. Get our spoils of war here. Can always use more event keys. Always use more event keys. Alright, so we got that troop. And Blighted Lands leveled up. Nice. So really quickly here before we go to the raid, let's take a look at the Blighted Lands kingdom here. And let's sort this by rarity. So the only mythic troop right now for this kingdom is Abyssnia, which is basically a mana generator with a summon. It will explode all gems of a chosen color, summon an Infernal King. It has a 22 mana cost. A troop like this, I think, should actually be lowered to like 20, because that's the lowest that a mythic can have. But it doesn't do any damage. It's just a mana generator, and then it summons a legendary troop. That's pretty much it. Pretty much, yeah. Except on the trait here, all demons gain 2 attack and life at the start of each turn. I mean, it's not great when you consider there's much better mana generators in the game. But the legendary that it does summon is pretty powerful, and it will convert green gems to skulls, brown gems to red, and then deal 43 scatter damage. So it's skull damage, conversion, and it does a little bit of spell damage. Then it actually has a 25% chance to resurrect after death. So, but yeah, this kingdom really doesn't have any amazing troops. Here's our glory troop. Let's just ascend that to Mythic right away. Go ahead and trait this thing. Okay, so those are the troops that are in the event keys this week. But I don't really recommend trying to go for them. As you can see here, Blighted Lands for the event keys. Alright, so let's check out the raid boss real quick. And of course, the raid boss is going to be using the troops from this kingdom. So we're going to have to build a team with the troops from this kingdom in order to do the raid boss event this week. And if we look here, our Godslayer troop right here, Lucifria, I think is how you say her name. We're going to go ahead and purchase these here. Get ourselves some Godslayer troops. And there is also the weapon that we're going to get. And another thing here too, when you're buying these in the shop, you do have a chance of getting, it's a low chance, but you do have a chance of getting legendary or mythic troops. As you just see right here, the Infernal King popped up for me. I got one of those just from like 70 gems here purchasing this, because it will give me kingdom troops. So out of these 4 kingdom troops here, the Infernal King dropped for me. And yeah, Soul Reaper, we got that weapon. We might use it, we might not use it, we'll see. Now I'm going to buy a couple ahead here as well because I want to get enough of this troop here in order to ascend it to Mythic, because that's when it's going to do the most damage. Now this troop is actually going to be beneficial outside of this raid boss event because it starts with 50% mana and it has a guaranteed burn all enemies when you cast it. And the mana cost is pretty low, and if you get it at the 50% mana, it'll start with 6 mana and you can burn all enemies. So if you are using the Fireblade talent on these classes where you do the triple damage on burning enemies, so instead of using Infernus to burn all enemies on a 4 or 5 match, you could use this. You could substitute this troop for something like Infernus to burn all enemies, and then you'll be able to do that triple skull damage on burning enemies. So this troop will find some usefulness in regular gameplay outside of this event, which is pretty rare. Most of these event troops, you just can't use them really outside of the event. So, let's go purchase one more here. And I might have enough now. I should, to get that up there. But as you can see, I already started kind of a little bit of a team here. Let's see, where is this troop? We want to ascend it. Here it is. Not quite to Mythic. We got it at Legendary, so we'll start there. And we'll go ahead and trade this thing. Make sure to level it up. So I'm thinking we're going to put it right at the top because we want to do this skull damage to the boss as well as the spell damage there. I could put something like this up here at the top, and then with that dies and the boss is left, and that'll hit. We'll figure it out as we get along here, but I think this is the team I'm gonna go with just to start out. But you do have other options in here. Like I said, if you do have this troop, you could use this for mana generation. You do have the Dark Monolith, which does damage to 2 the weakest enemies. We have Hellcat, which is a mana generator for red. You can select a color there. This troop, which I do have in my team right now, will convert yellow to purple, and it starts with full mana. Venbarek down here damages all enemies, but we want to focus damage on the boss. This troop only does towers. Of course, you got the legendary troop here as well. But we want to do damage to that raid boss. But right now, I think we're going to go with something like this. Higher up, I'm going to use Trickster's Dart. Or not Trickster's Dart. Trickster's Shot. I don't know why I call it Trickster's Dart. I'm thinking of Rope Dart. But I'm going to use this later so we can focus in on the boss. But right now, I'm just going to select a weapon that will... we're going to do this. We're going to do that because early on the enemies are going to be really weak, so that'll be great. I mean, we could also use Fiend Fire too. But the reason I have this troop in here is because it'll transform a selected mana color to purple. So that's really nice. It's a mana generator as well. So let's just start with this, and then later on I'll probably use Trickster's Shot, and we can always come up with like a Mang team. But as you can see, the enemies are really weak. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much at this point, any team that does damage to all enemies is going to work really good. The enemy is so weak here. But yeah, it's kind of hard. I'd have to go through like a half an hour of these battles more in order to get to a point where it starts to get more difficult, where I can show you what kind of team I'm going to use. So I'll probably just post in a day or two after this video what team I'm using at high levels of the raid boss event, because I don't really want to make this video like a 50-minute to an hour long video. Like, I don't think you guys want to sit through watching me do all these low battles. I don't know, maybe you do, but you know, if you do, maybe I'll start doing that. But for right now, I think I'm just going to end the video here. And then, yeah, I'll probably just post a video later on what team I go with. Before I go, is there anything that I forgot here really quick? I guess I could just review what's going on this week here. So we have upcoming in tomorrow, we're going to have a faction assault with the Werewoods faction. So that's going to be going on Tuesday. Then we have a pet rescue going on Wednesday. We have a new pet here. And then later on, Friday this week, we have the bounty. So that's always great. Lots of different rewards and orbs and all that good stuff that's going on in there. Also later in the week is going to be the new Mythic troop. We got a new Mythic coming out this upcoming Friday, the same time that the bounty's going on. So yeah, that's pretty much all of what's going on this week. We have the class trial here, of course, with the Diabolist class. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on this week. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, as always. I appreciate the support and all the different likes on the video. And of course, if you didn't like the video, you know, you can give it a thumbs down as well. And, you know, please comment on the video if you didn't like it. I'm always open to feedback. So thanks, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.